Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Taken, Season 1, Episode 1. It is the pilot. Just fixing my pop shield as I'm talking. It's the pilot, it is the new show. It's based on, of course, on the movie trilogy. Yeah, it's a trilogy now. Starring
So
Liam
they
Neeson.
claim.
Well, it's three of them, based
No,
on
no,
the
no.
trilogy.
They claim it's based on it.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, that's a fair... Well, it's fine though, because obviously, we'll start spoiler free just before we continue here, and we'll maybe do some spoilers at the end. But obviously, I went into this thinking, all right, it's probably going to be a TV adaptation. It's going to be a remake or whatever. Someone's going to be
Yeah.
taken, as that's what the title means.
I
And
remember when they first announced it, they were like, it's kind of a prequel, it's kind of a reboot. I was like, okay, so you can kind of get away with doing the same sort of thing.
I don't even remember that. I just went in expecting the Taken plot, but drawn
That's
out,
literally what Taken is. It's the clue is in the name.
right? Well, no, you can argue someone being killed is also them being taken.
You could argue that, but in the context of what Taken is,
Oh no, I know, but I'm just saying you can say someone dying has been taken from you.
I suppose.
They always say that at the service. They have been taken from us.
I suppose you're right there. I'll concede that point.
But you watch the show and like halfway through, like so many elements of it were like so unlike the movie. Like there's this government agency watching over everything. It keeps cutting back to them and they're spying on everything. And I'm like, what the hell?
What is this?
This wasn't
I
in the
don't
movie.
understand why this is called Taken.
I actually looked it up halfway through because I was like,
Just to
what's
be
going
sure.
on? And so apparently, yeah, it's a full prequel. He's playing the same character, Brian Mills, and it's meant to be a prequel. It's meant to be the start of his career in the CIA. It's the start of his career.
Oh, okay.
So, but it's doing like the Bates Motel thing where it's a prequel to the movie, but it's still set present day because they've got like iPhones and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
It's clearly not.
I think that's why they were referring to it as like a prequel reboot originally,
Yeah,
because they'd said it was pre-present day. Yeah.
yeah, because I mean, I didn't keep watching Bates Motel, but I think that eventually actually went into the movie sort of timeline. Like it got to the point where it was covering that plot, whereas they couldn't do that in this because there's a really ominous line in the pilot here where someone says, "Oh, never have a daughter."
Yeah, it's like, oh, because that's not foreshadowing anything.
Yeah, but of course, the daughter has to be at least. I mean, even if they change it from the movie, that. Well, actually, the movie should maybe 16. I've had this conversation on a discussion before about how she looked like 28, but she was actually 16. But
Yeah.
even at 16, like the show would have to run for however many years till he has the kid, and then run for X number of years. Unless, of course, they just time jump, and that's fine too. That's an option, of course. But it doesn't feel like they're doing that. It feels like what they've actually given us here is a very generic CIA show. It feels more like 24 than it does Taken, but they're calling it Taken, and that's
Yeah,
it.
and they set up like it's set up like it's going to be very procedural.
It seemed like because there's a lot of things in this pilot that I thought would be on like because the whole idea of this secret CIA team that are off the books and do black ops and stuff, and they're watching him. And they're sort of following him without him knowing they're following him while he's dealing with the bad guys. I thought that was going to be a whole season thing. I thought that's how this all season it's going to keep cutting back to them. It's not going to be till the end of the season where they finally come out and say we've been watching you this whole time, but we're on your side or whatever. And no, by the end of the episode, that's all done. It's finished.
And it's like, oh, you can go on missions for us.
Yeah.
It's like,
I don't think that's spoiling anything. That's just the premise.
that's
of the
the premise
show.
of the show, isn't it? Going forward, is he's going to go on missions as part of this team. That's the show, and I don't understand how that's taken.
It's not taken. He's called Brian Mills. That's why he's taken. That's the extent of it. He's a badass
bullshit.
called Brian Mills. That's all you've got.
Yeah.
And presumably, years after the show ends, it'll become the movie.
In the past.
No, a new version of it in the future.
Oh, okay, I get you.
Yeah, it'll be this guy older and
Yeah.
someone who's not Maggie Grace, but
He's no Liam Neeson, is he?
he's not. Yeah, that's probably the biggest problem with the show. Well, it's either that or just how poor the action shot. Because it's an action show and the action was boring. That's a
I
problem.
was so stilted.
Yeah, it was very stilted. The moment that really actually almost made me laugh how bad it was in the middle. He goes back to his house and he's pretending to watch TV and the assassins are all coming for him. And it's when they come in, he does this roll and then shoots, and the whole thing just feels like it feels like it goes so slow. Like, it doesn't feel like there's any immediacy in the scene.
Yeah.
It's just playing out the beats, but it's playing it out too slow, and as a result, it just kind of felt like It's like he waited for you to roll and shoot.
Yeah, it felt that as well a little bit. I think it was a bit later with the car. You know, where he's going out like up a ramp, have a parking lot, and he kind of does this thing where he crashes into another car and keeps going, and like to bash the other car out the way, and you just had absolutely no momentum. It felt like the cars were barely moving.
Yeah, so that was that, and the fact that the lead actor doesn't have the charisma to pull off. You know, you watch Taken, you like Taken because Liam Neeson is just carrying the movie every single scene of the way.
Like I love that first movie. I will admit that. I didn't bring myself to watch the others because they just looked awful. But I love the first one, and 90% of that is Liam Neeson.
The reviews would back you up on that. I've not seen 2 or 3 either, but the reviews would suggest that that's the case. Oh god, nah. By the way, let's not confuse this with the Steven Spielberg limited series called Taken from the early 2000s, which was about being abducted by aliens. Just for
Probably more interesting than this.
It probably is more. I never watched that, but it got decent reviews. It was meant to be good.
Just that sentence alone has me more interested. I'd rather watch that Taken.
This was just kind of dull and boring, to be honest. Like he doesn't have charisma. The action scenes weren't that interesting. It also moves through the plot far too fast. Like within like the opening 2 minutes, we're introduced to a character, and then like the tragic death that motivates him for the plot like happens. And, like, you know, maybe if we'd spent like 3 scenes with that character, we might care more.
Yeah, it's literally 2 minutes in.
Yeah,
like it's just nothing happens before it. That is the opening scene.
Yeah, and it's so dull and boring that at one point when he's pretending to watch TV and eating dinner, I literally just thought, he just went home and he's eating dinner. This is just what's happening.
Yeah. The only shot I actually liked was one of the very stars as the title card comes up, the exterior of the train.
Oh, you mean the opening 5 seconds?
Yeah, I was like, oh, that looks nice. And then everything else was like, okay, I'm bored now.
There was one nice shot, actually, just after he leaves his house. There's like a sort of shot with he's going down a hill, and the light, sort of, it's like a big backlight kind of at night.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It was a nice looking little shot.
Yeah.
But
few and far between.
Few and far between. And like I say, we've got this whole setup where there's this crack team following him and listening in on what's going on, and there's twists and turns about friends that he thinks are allies and vice versa. And
again, this all feels like this is a season plot, not an episode plot.
And no, but it's all wrapped up by the end of the episode. Especially since the villain that he's trying to get, who's responsible for the death of his loved one, you think, oh, this is a season plot. He's going to spend all season getting to him because he's the head of this cartel. He's this big bad, and now they get him by the end of the episode. He's done, finished, hands washed of it. So no, it's even if that was a season plot, we wouldn't be interested enough to stick around because it wasn't that good anyway. But the fact that it's also procedural, I'd at least
respect it a little bit for having a season plot.
Yeah, but instead it's just like, oh, they're just going to have missions of different CIA missions every week, and I'm like, I am checked out. I don't care.
Do you know what is worse about that? Like, a lot of procedural shows have an ongoing plot alongside them over the season, and most of them, especially now in the last few years, will set up that season plot in the pilot and go, yes, hey, here's what you can expect, like going forward alongside the ongoing missions. I actually don't know what that is in this show.
I may not have one.
That's which is so weird.
And if it does, it's just really stupid. They didn't bring it up in the pilot. It's like everything that's introduced in this pilot is actually completely wrapped up, with the exception being, oh, come join our team and fight bad guys with us.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's the only thing that's sort of left open to keep going. Everything else is just completely wrapped up.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the bad guy might pop back up again. They might have like a Hannibal Lecter-esque thing with them where they go and visit him, but it's like, it's not the same thing.
It's not.
It's I don't know.
I just feel like when you think of Taken, you think, okay, so the premise is someone's taken, I'm going to go get them back, and then you think of the phone speech.
You think there's a lot of talking on phones actually in this. That's a good point.
There is a lot of talking on phones, but it doesn't have the speech.
But it's funny though that it feels very intentional that they've constantly got him talking on a phone as if, yeah, I remember that scene in the movie when Liam Neeson gave that speech.
Do you reckon they'll pull a Smallville, so to speak, where the final episode will be him saying the speech?
Oh, probably. Well, essentially what this whole show is now is it's him learning his very specific set of skills.
It is.
That's what they should do. Episode 2, I don't know what it's called, but it should be called specific skill number 1. Just each episode, just a new skill. So that by the end of the 5 seasons or whatever it would be, no, I don't see it lasting that long. It's not very good. I can see it being cancelled and not getting any more seasons. But let's say it lasted 5 seasons. At the end of 5 seasons, that's like 100 plus skills, very specific skills that he's learned.
I love how like they'll start really vague, be like, lock picking, that's a specific skill, and I can just see season 5. It'll be like hacking a singular model of a TV. That'll have to get really specific. This was just boring. I struggled to get through it. Boredom. It wasn't that bad. It was just that boring.
Yeah, it was boring. Yeah, it wasn't the worst. It wasn't the worst thing ever. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't painfully bad like something like South of Hell. My cat's in front of me. It wasn't that bad. It was just painfully mediocre.
I spent the whole thing going, I could just go watch the movie. It'd be way more enjoyable than this.
Yeah, so
I could go watch basically anything else and it'd probably be more enjoyable.
It's the kind of thing where, you know, if you're rating it, you're right bang just below average. You're not in the deep shit, but you're just below average.
Yeah, you're like a 4.
And that's where this sits. I have no interest in watching another minute of it. It is not very good. Very generic. That's it. Skill number 436: disarming a bomb with a banana.
Seems legit. I'm sure that'll come up at some point, more than once.
More than once.
Well, you gotta have payoff. You gotta learn the skill and then reuse it later on. That's how these things work. Maybe so it's got to come up twice.
Okay, maybe when they get to season like 24 and we get to the movie plot and the girl's 16, which is actually quite a funny thing about it. He has to like kind of like semi-retire and like get a wife and. I know he splits up with her in the movie.
And then split up with the wife, yeah.
Yeah. He has to do all that, and then she has to age till she's 16. So we get to season 24, and then you have the plot of the movie, but every single skill he's learned in the previous 20 seasons all come up in that one season.
That would be amazing.
There'll be a bomb about to go off. He'll have the daughter. He'll have rescued her from like the sex den. They're in the room. There's a bomb about to go off. He's like, "Oh God, we're doomed." There's a bomb, and the only thing else in the room is a banana. And he's like,
"Oh, I can do this.
I learned this. I know what I'm doing." Oh dear. That's Taken. It took me 40 plus minutes to watch this, and if I find the producers, no, I'm not gonna get a speech. But yeah, yeah, that's Taken. Not very good. Give it a miss. Give it a miss.
Yeah, don't waste your time.
Don't bother.
Just watch the movie as said if you got an itch.
If you did happen to watch it, let us know what you thought of it in the comments below. Like and subscribe and all that stuff. Helps us out a lot. Get us on Twitter at mailed_fuzz for channel updates, so you can get our individual Twitters on the screen for general ramblings. And that's us. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't let your teenage daughters be taken by terrorists. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.